No one wants to build a budget home. The unfortunate thing with going cheap in the beginning, it's years down the line, you can start seeing the home perish away.
So people want more for less.
Quite often that's where the big billboards and the flashing lights and sometimes TV commercials can lure people into the misconception that things are achievable. By being open, having those conversations, sometimes achieve the result you're wanting for less money.
Norm, how can focus solely on low pricing affect the overall quality and the durability of a home?
Yeah, look, it's something that we do see a lot there. A lot of people being so purely focused earlier on in the building process is price. Now, obviously, we've all got our perimeters we have to work within and a budget we're trying to achieve our desired result within, certain, criteria there. But I find being purely focused just on the price, especially so early on in the building process with, at times very little knowledge of purely how to understand or compare things equally or, fully understanding what you're actually getting, for that price, can be a very big disadvantage.
And I guess with the cost of building going up, cost of living going up, and perhaps people's budgets not going up, that's staying where they're at, I guess there's the gap's growing bigger. So people want more for less. And obviously then you guys are sort of stuck there in the middle trying to meet your clients' needs, but then you're at the same time, you can't do it because then you're sort of shooting yourselves in the foot as well.
Yeah, that's right. Like, it's important you know your numbers. Like, you got a cost per job per day and, different designs and different sorts of construction methods that are going to cost, different, as well. But, most importantly, I guess it's a matter of managing those expectations and, all communicating on that clear vision to where things need to go. If you're not communicating and, all parties involved openly communicating and being upfront and honest, if you're holding cards too close to yourself and not showing those cards, your builder's not going to be able to help you as much as they possibly can. By being open and having those conversations, you'll be really surprised what a good builder can actually do to assist you with those, concerns and to keep those budgetary restraints, within order or potentially still sometimes achieve the result you're wanting for less money.
Can you explain how unexpected costs and overruns often arise in these sort of budget home construction projects?
Yeah, look, I guess we all sign up for what we think's too good to be true. They've signed their dotted line. It's been a fantastic price that they think they're getting something and ends up, once they're committed to their contracts, they then find out they haven't had certain specifications done or what they thought was included hasn't been included because it wasn't documented, correctly in the actual contracts or the proposals. And then they find themselves reaching into their pocket, finding more money to, purchase, potentially that stone bench top as an example.
So how do you find having that conversation, managing the client's expectations? Like how do you manage that process?
Look, the way we manage our, building process is very black and white, very clear, very transparent, and if it's not clear, as I say, we all have our own builder's jargon and lingo that we talk, and if something doesn't make sense, ask the question again to say, could you please explain it a bit further? What does that mean? So if you've got that open communication and that great rapport with your builder, nothing has to be a problem. And that's why I don't believe, we have those issues there. Like it's really easy to sort of, listen to what they're wanting. We can allow for what they want. You can give options on other ideas in that sort of area as well. And at the end of the day, they can then ascertain all that information and go, yes, I'm going to proceed with this, or no, let's just run with that there.
Do you feel that people generally actually want to build a budget home, or do you feel like they're just trapped with their options?
Oh, look, 100%. No one wants to build a budget home, but we only have the perimeters, so much money in the bank that we can sort of, work with there. And quite often that's where the big billboards and the flashing lights and, sometimes TV commercials can lure people into the misconception that things are achievable, but then they start realizing the quality that they're actually getting in their build or the lack of quality, and the certain trades and suppliers that they may have engaged then may not be as good as others, and they're potentially now getting this second tiered home that isn't really what they expected. So it's really important, I guess. Yes, you have to work within your perimeters of cost, but it's really important also that you don't want to be compromising on the actual overall quality of what you could be getting if you dig a little bit deeper and talk to the right builder.
So on the tail end of that, how can homeowners balance like their desire for a good living space, but also balancing their like budget expectations as well?
That's right, and to take the best approach with getting the best value for your money without compromising on the overall quality and what you're getting, it's to take the right process to begin with. You really should be doing a very detailed, thorough building preliminary agreement, and along that journey there, you should be able to start working out and debugging any of those little areas that could potentially be a bit of a pitfall or might arise that can start changing costings there. So if you take the right process to begin with, you're going to eliminate most of those concerns and problems and be able to foresee that there before it becomes a major concern.
Let's talk about the resale value of the house. Like building this budget home in the early stages, they may win, but how does the long-term effects play out?
Yeah, the unfortunate thing with going cheap in the beginning there, it's years down the line, sometimes not many years whatsoever, that you can start seeing the home, perish away, have that wear and tear. Products that they've put into that specific home there may not really been suitable for that environment, and they're not really standing up. So then it comes down to you may want to upgrade and move on. Your family's expanded as an example, and you want to sell your home. But, if they've gone through and painted the house and it was quite thin and hasn't been done properly or prepped correctly, for you to sell it, you need to repaint your home as an example. Whereas if you built with the quality builder to begin with, that's actually follow the right processes, and the paint's still as good as it was the day before you moved in, you're not going to have that expense, and it's a compounded effect of a lot of things like that there that can be quite a costly mistake there.
Are you finding that, do you ever get surprised at some people, like everything you share just, and some people would still be like, yeah, I'd still want that?
Yeah, look, it's unfortunately that's just the mentality of what some people are wanting there. But I think once they've lived through that, they're quite often not going to go do it again.
So, what would your sort of final thoughts be, if there's any sort of strategies helping families and homeowners manage their budget expectations with trying to also achieve the home of their dreams? What are some ways that they can take the right steps towards getting that outcome?
Look, the best approach there for people there is to actually start doing the groundwork early, spend the time in your plans and specifications there, work with a reputable builder that can help guide you and keep things within your budgetary restraints there. And, they'll be able to come up with great ideas to still make it a win-win thing for yourself without compromising on the important aspects of things. Now, if you've developed that relationship and you're going down that path, it's real easy to start then narrowing down areas that you can be a bit more creative with and a bit smarter with there. And if you've got plans and specifications put in place there, and you're dealing with a custom home builder, they can quote that up there and give you alternative options, whereas you'll more than likely find you take those plans into a project builder, they're more than likely not interested in that there because they're not competitive with comparing things equally themselves.
Well, that's a lot of value. That's jam-packed. Before we wrap up, I will just ask you one more question.
Okay.
And we're going to get that from our Get to Know Your Norm jar. Let's see if you can pick out a winner, mate. Let's have a look. If you could be a superhero, what superpower would you possess and why?
Oh, it's going back to being a young one, this one, I guess, but I'd have to be, I'd say Wolverine.
Yeah, why Wolverine?
I used to like the aspect that he had, the immortality aspect with his skeleton and the self-healing. So give you a bit more longevity in life, and I guess the extra time you could spend here, it'd be quite interesting what you get to see and experience with how wonderful and rapidly this world evolves.
There you go. I love that. Well, as always, Norm, thank you.
Pleasure. Thanks, mate.
Until next time.